Hello, 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 and welcome to the new normal with me, Deborah Francis White. This is a show from the Guilty Feminist about life and feminism during quarantine. And today, my wonderful guest is Sara Barron. If you've just tuned in, this show is about life and feminism in quarantine, and my guest is Sara Barron. Let me see if Sara is there. There we go. Yes. Go live with Sara Barron in 5, 4, 3, because this is how we make television now. Hello, Sara Barron. Are you there? Yay!
Hi, nice to see
Hello.
you.
How are you?
I'm a feminist, but I'm uncomfortable with the lighting, and I now feel the need
Oh,
to slightly. I mean, it's constant.
yeah, I know. It's so bad. These cameras, I'm telling you, the cameras, the lighting. Do you know, I thought I'd lost like 10 years of collagen in 4 weeks, and it turned out I hadn't been hydrating enough. I did a moisture mask, and then I put on some makeup and blow dried my hair to make a video. I looked exactly like my old self. I genuinely
Right.
thought, she's gone.
You just
I
needed to
literally
be
was saying to my
reminded that.
friends, I'm never going to be that pretty again. Like, I was looking at old photos of me, like, dressed up to go out with my hair and makeup properly done and stuff. Like, you know, when I used to get, sometimes you get a makeup artist to do it because you were going to a fancy thing. And I thought that those days are gone. I was looking at photos from a year ago because I had my film premiere a year ago. And I was like, I'll never look that pretty again. And then I did a moisture mask. I haven't done anything today. I should have done something, but I was busy on
I
a
did
script.
full pink lip for you.
Oh, you look great, actually. You've got a bow
I
lip.
I put it on because it's one of the things that not every day. It's not like one of my things, but I have found it has such an effect on my mood if I have makeup on to
It's
take my
such an incredible
kid
thing.
on our bit of a walk or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
The little
Mm-hmm.
thing.
I find liquid eyeliner is my thing, and I have not put it on today, but I got up this morning. Okay, I had 4 hours sleep. I went to bed at half
Why?
past one because I had to get a script in today. I went to bed at 1:30, set my alarm for 5:30 because I thought I was starting to fall asleep, and I was like, I'm not going to do a good job. Set my alarm for 5:30, and then if you're giving out any medals, Sara, still
I
made my
will.
PT session at 9:30. Got the script in, PT session 9:30, 2 hours of PT, came out the other side, worked on the script because they hadn't read it yet, did 2 more hours on the script, then did a note session on the script, and then was still working. That is not a usual day for me in lockdown. I feel so proud of myself for having done it because
Did you not find though, because I would feel that having to function at that level when you've sort of been off the treadmill for so long I don't think I could do it if that was asked of me tomorrow.
I think well, you definitely could because you have a child, so you have a lot more resilience than I do. You have children wake you up. You have to understand if you do not have a child, like you don't get woken up. Like
No, I know that, but what I'm talking about is sort of almost like the muscle memory sort of like I 6 months ago could have had that day and like made it happen.
right.
So out of practice with
It was just the
that level of
deadline.
productivity.
Look, the only reason I was that close to the deadline is I'm out of practice. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have been that close to the deadline.
Okay.
It was the fact that I was working that closely to the deadline when I'm in lockdown tells you
Fine.
everything you need to know. It
Fine.
was I don't know, I just spring it like a deadline. I'm like, you gotta hit it, you know, that kind of feeling. And then I can like stay awake, but I'm gonna go to bed early tonight because
God.
tomorrow I'm gonna be terrible. Ring me tomorrow, I'm gonna be in a mood. I don't know who's on the new normal tomorrow, but whoever it is, I'm going to be like, I got 4 questions for you. How are you? You know, today I'm full of adrenaline. So you got the good
Right.
Deborah.
Still
You got
riding
the
the horse. You're still riding the horse. Were you happy with your script?
yes, yeah. I just got some really good feedback on it, so I'm very
Oh,
happy.
good. Okay, great.
Very happy. I mean, it still needs a lot of work, but like you know, when it's sort of like a big step forward as opposed to, you do hours of work and someone goes, I like the old draft better, and then you're like, oh no, you know. So no, it was a very good session. How the hell are you in lockdown? How the hell are you?
I
That's my first
think
question.
I'm not I'm not great and I'm not terrible. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think I am a little bit enjoying having nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I like that. I like that everything that's awful about my job is now just not a regular part of my life anymore, and that's good. I have a 4-year-old. It is horrible having to be with him all the time. So that's really, really, I'm sort of set into it now, but that was when I sort of realized that nurseries were closing and that was happening at
or he just couldn't go for a play date. Like you could go sit with another parent and like you have a cup of tea and the kids run off together or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like
and you know, my husband is, you know, around and very present as a dad, but the bottom line is he still kind of has a job, and as a stand-up, I just don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am now back to sort of where we were a few years ago, where I'm doing, you know, 70 and he's at 30, and that's too much for me. So that's been.
Have you heard all of his work calls? Do you know what kind of a work guy he is now? Because I saw someone on Twitter saying, turns out my husband's I'll circle back kind of guy. And
that's such a good detail.
And somebody else said, I've worked out my boyfriend's job is mostly saying good stuff to guys called Nathaniel.
That is so funny. My best friend, who's been with her husband, they've been together like 19 years, and she was, you know, and she was just like, oh, I just understand now, all he does is meetings. It's just one meeting to the next, to like constant sort of conversation. My husband does a lot of work from home anyway, so I'm sort of aware of him. Those are great details. I don't have a good quote like that. But and I find I always love getting to watch people at work. Like it's the most erotic thing to me to like get to observe someone doing their job.
Wow, your sex life must be amazing at the moment.
No,
because you don't have a job and your husband's working from home, so you're just bringing him cups of tea and then you know, going into sexual favor mode. I'm trying to be. It's only 6 o'clock. I'm trying to.
It's all these jokes about like,
it's the internet. You know,
all the babies that are gonna, all the quarantine babies. I'm like, are people having sex? Like, is that how this feels to people? Like they're bored, and because it doesn't feel. I haven't found it an erotic time.
See, I feel what I find fascinating about this time is we are all sharing something huge. The whole human race is sharing something huge right now, or certainly every country that's quarantined is sharing something huge right now. But every experience of this is so different. So we are all having a unique experience from a shared source. So some of my friends are quarantined totally alone. And their dream is to talk to any fucking body. Like they're like, can I touch a human being? And so that for them, it's just like, right, how, like, they would literally invite a men's rights activist over for dinner if they were allowed. Like, right. You know, it's like anyone.
It's so funny you say that. I think I'm one of these people. I think I've had coronavirus. I don't know for sure because, of course, I haven't been tested, but I had a certain number of symptoms. I think I've had it, but I can't be too sure. But I'm was in the shop. I'm like going out without a mask or gloves because I have been symptomless now for a month. Fine. And I went to the local fruit and veg shop, and there's a guy there who works behind the till. And as he was packing my groceries into my bag, our hands touched. And I swear to God, and I've never noticed him before. I've never clocked him as like, oh, the guy at the fruit and veg shop is a little hot. And both of us just chose to let it linger. And it felt like the most erotic moment.
Wow.
It was spectacular. It just, the touching of the hand. So
I wonder what's it's gonna be like after this. That's actually one of my questions about, because I think, like I was saying, like some people are alone, some people are with some people are with people they fancy like mad, and they're like having all of the sex, and some people are in relationships where I think I'm very interested in it, because I think you're not doing your normal like going out thing. Like if you're like with a partner and maybe you have sex like you know, whatever a regular amount of times is for you, which is different for everybody, but you have your routine. But you're not going out, getting all dressed up, going for a few drinks with friends, coming home, like a time when you might like fall into that. You're just like in your sweats all of the time. Like, you know, you're not going out and being another person and coming in and having a fascinating conversation. You're just like, you again, you again, you again. So I think it's probably killing some sex lives. It's probably exacerbating some sex lives. It's probably, for some people, exactly that. Like when they get out of here, they're just going to be like, literally touching somebody is going to be like the most erotic thing ever. People won't be able to orgasm just by touching somebody.
That's genuinely how it sort of felt in that moment. And I think, and you know, I'm not going to do it, which is why I feel comfortable talking about it. But I think some people, I'm just reading, single woman who has no idea when she can physically touch a new person. Why not have sex until post-vaccine? Hopefully she'll have sex pre-testing or something when we can be tested. But anyway, I think the affair rate is going to skyrocket, because it's going to feel I'm not talking to like, I think anyone who feels, whether it's something they can admit to themselves or not, that they're kind of capable of extracurricular intercourse, I think 100% are going to do it. It's going to feel so wild to be able to be with
I think there's going to be a
lot
of parties, honestly. I think there's going to be a lot. It's going to be like, so the 20s came out of periods of, I think we're going to go back into the roaring 20s, and I think there will be a lot more sex parties. There'll be a lot more snogging at parties. There'll be a lot more, for a period, there'll be a fear of touching, and then once it's safe, once we have a vaccine, I think there's going to be orgies. I just think there's going to be orgies.
100%. It's that roaring 20s thing. Exactly that. I think they're coming. No pun intended.
Hey, can I ask you, because we that's not a question I ask every day, but I'm so happy it came up. Do you have any coping strategies? Because you, like, exactly this thing of everyone's in a different situation. So you have a 4-year-old kid, and he's gorgeous, he's adorable, but it's a lot. Any 4-year-old child is a lot. It doesn't matter how great the kid is. It's an intense experience, and you know, it's a lot of attention needed. Do you have any coping strategies for just staying on an even keel? It's okay to say no.
Yeah, I think I do. I think that, you know, there's nothing particularly insightful with my coping stuff. It's sort of presumably stuff that a lot of your guests have talked about, which is like, what I have known for years about myself. I used to be like a really active exerciser. There's no way anymore that happens for me. And I've worked out that one of the reasons that was okay for me was because I do stand up, and the adrenaline hit of doing gigs, I think sort of gave me the endorphin rush. So I've sort of been living. So I was like, oh, that's part of why I don't feel jonesing for a sweat the way I used to. So I was like, okay, so we're going to exercise now is what we're going to do. So I've been doing that. That's been helping. I think with the kids stuff, and I hate when people say this, but it's just what's coming to mind. It's like, you have to respect your own limits. So like my husband is really good at going into our son's world and being really present with him. And he knows the character of every TV show that he watches, and he sort of gives him this level of attention. I can't do it. I can do it for 5 minutes. So I'll be like, oh, okay.
The Peppa Pig did what today?
Yeah. And then beyond that, it's like, you're going to learn imaginary play when you're with mommy. And you know what I mean? And obviously I pay attention to him. If he talks, we have a conversation.
I think it's good, Sarah. I think it's good, because not everyone in the real world will go down that rabbit hole with him. and he needs
Right.
to be able to interact. So it's great. He has one parent who will go there with him, another parent he has to come to a little bit more, and like as you say, just go into his own space. Children need that. Like I just think there are these perfect ideas of parenting that I think are actually worrying, because
Yeah.
if the real world will not bend to your every wish and whim, the real world isn't going to be completely engrossed in you, and so you can. I honestly think you can you can parent too well so that the children are not prepared for the real world.
This is what I tell him. I tell him I'm doing him that favor when I sort of willfully ignore him. Not ignore him, but you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I'm going to be doing some dishes.
Mm-hmm.
You hang
Yeah,
out.
but you're still like chatting and stuff, but you're just not
Yeah.
going into the. I know so many parents who say, I cannot hear any more about Minecraft. It's boring.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
know about it. I've nannied for small children. They're incredibly boring. And they'll tell you about a cartoon they saw, and the story will go on for an hour. And you can't.
And I used to think
it's not Orange is the New Black. Let's be honest.
it's not. And I used to think, oh, but it's when it's your kid. It'll be like your kid,
No,
and your kid is nope.
no.
My kid is more interesting to me than other kids for literally 1 minute. And I'll be like, oh my God, his mind, oh, and that's a minute. And then it's like, okay, I gotta,
Yeah.
I
Engage with
have
something. Yeah.
anxiety about the stain on the floor. I'm going to deal with that now.
But do you know what, though? They're not for forever, and their minds catch up to your minds. So like when he's 32, you're going to be asking him about things that you don't understand, and it's going to be incredible.
Just got 28 more years to go.
It doesn't jump from 4 to 32. It gets gradually more interesting every year.
Yeah.
Every year. Can I ask, have you got any pets or things you would like to show us in the house?
Oh, so here's what I think. I don't know if this has been going on with you. Our internet connections through the Corona crisis has been horrendous.
Yeah,
so
I think it's overused.
Isn't my best idea, but I found something. I was thinking about like a funny like relic, and I found this thing that I thought I would read. The whole thing will take 45 seconds. It'll be a long 45 seconds if it's much more boring than I think it is, but we'll see how it goes. So basically, I have this memory when I was I must have been in 7th grade. So I was like 13 years old. I don't know what the British equivalent is. Despite having lived here for many years, I cannot understand the school system. When people are like, year this, I'm like, I'm still lost. So we were given the assignment to write an about the author on the back of our autobiography.
Right.
So you're sort of projecting this future self. You've written a book, and this is your about the author on the back of.
And how old were you here?
I'm 12 or 13.
Great. And this is about you, what you think you're going to be when you're grown up.
This is me described, this is me writing about myself. Again, I think this thing will take 45 seconds to get through.
We'll give you the same minute you give your kid.
That's all I ask. And I want to leave the audience wanting more, which I think I'll fail to do with this. Okay, so I found this, and I was cleaning out my office, and I thought it was hilarious. The question becomes, did I think it was hilarious because I'm myself? And will this be very boring to your listeners? But let's figure out. Okay. Sara Barron Clouseau was born in Highland Park, Illinois, into a close-knit traditional family with parents Lynn and Joe and brother Sam. Educated at Highland Park Public Schools, which in the American equivalent is like a state school, so I wasn't trying to be fancy. Okay, educated at Highland Park Public Schools through her life. She left for college at McAllister at the age of 18. I can hear that my son is getting punished. That's going to interrupt this. Okay, after her senior year abroad in India, she studied at the Sorbonne University, during which she completed graduate school. Here, she met her husband-to-be, world-renowned ballet dancer Jack Clouseau, and was married at 28. We're nearly done.
You just said married, right? Not buried.
Married. I married a French ballerina. That fascinates me about myself.
Excellent.
What a terrible sentence. This fascinates me about myself. Okay.
It is very funny. Go on.
It's weird, right? This to me is the most interesting part. After overcoming financial difficulties, The two moved to Evanston, Illinois. Sara is now a member of the Hubbard Street Dance Company after dancing with the American Ballet. So I became a ballet dancer in my dream. She is now pregnant with her first child at the age of 32 and hopes to resume her dancing career as soon as possible. Interesting. So I took my husband's name. He was a ballet dancer. He was French.
And interestingly, that although you'd taken a career break to have a baby, you already knew you were keen to get back to the career.
Yes.
And were you 32 when you had your kid?
No, I was 36 when I had my child, but my mother had me at 32.
So that was probably in you.
A funny little thing. Do you know what's so interesting is that when I read that, I laughed so hard. And even reading it out aloud to you, a receptive audience, I felt impossibly boring with it.
No, and it wasn't boring at all.
It was a useful bit of material.
Look at the response. People are saying, oh my God, laughing. Look, you're a comedian. Look at all the laughing. Can you see that? I'm scrolling down. Can you scroll up?
I think you guys are just being sweet. This is the thing about Guilty Feminist audience. They are so kind.
No, that was funny.
No, that's my concern. Okay,
that was funny. I wish I had something like that from myself, because that's fascinating. What think?
Overcoming financial difficulties. I mean, that's interesting to me.
That is really, it's really interesting. Did you, were you a dancer at that point when you wrote it?
It was my dream.
Were you doing dance class though?
I started, classic me, like I started 35. I started stand-up at 35. I'm very weird with my beginning times. I got really into dancing when I was 14. And I was, you know, a dancer in that respect, but I could never have made a career out of it. But to this day, I'm an excellent non-professional dancer. Like I get the party started at a wedding.
Right. I am actually doing dance class in quarantine. One-on-one dance class. Yeah.
Well, I found wait. Did you just say one-on-one?
Yeah, on Zoom. That's what gets me out of bed, Sara, because I'm doing PT and dance class on Zoom every day. And I found this amazing feminist dance teacher. She's a young woman called Melissa. She's an incredible dancer. If I'd seen her show reel, I never would have let her teach me, because she can do supernatural things. But luckily, she's an amazing, she's like an amazing teacher. Like she really wants to break it down, and she gets so satisfied by progress. And she's like, I cannot believe how much you've come on, blah, blah, blah. But it's just, I really, like, I think we need to be incredibly clear about my actual abilities. But if you do something every single day, and that's the opportunity you have in lockdown, and some days I do it for 2 hours, some days I do it for 1 hour, you can get better. So
what kind of dance are we talking about?
I mean, some jazz, some street. I mean, what you're expecting, Sarah. Yeah.
I mean, you owe people, like, when you can do a Guilty Feminist live show again, you're going to have to.
Oh, that will not happen ever. I'm not going to show people. This is for me.
I know, but you're going to be really vulnerable, and it's going to be really sweet.
Well, one of the reasons I've done it is I wanted to be more in my body on stage. And I feel like,
great.
Yeah, I just feel like other people, like, you know, like a comedian like Larry Dean or somebody like that. But even you have it as well. You have a lot of swagger. You know, like you do a little bit, and then you do a sort of like, you like, but what do you say? The booty, there's something.
Oh, I talk about how I wear jeans that show my camel toe, because you want in a pair of jeans. I have a fabulous ass. It's part of my deal. Other parts of my body are terrible, but my ass is my.
No, they're not. No parts of a feminist body is terrible.
Sorry. I have a fabulous booty. That's all this audience needs to know. And so all I want is to show it off. But to show it off, I always have a camel toe. And I say that with your jeans, it's very difficult to find a pair of jeans that tells the secret of the ass, but tells the story. I haven't done stand up in a month. Tells the story of the ass, but keeps the secret of the vag. That's what you're looking for. You want tell the story of the ass, vagina secret, difficult balance. And I like to move. And I think that that presentness in your body on stage is so powerful, and I'm very into your pursuit of that. I mean,
Well, I don't see your
very.
section. You just sort of like push your ass out, and you're like,
I do.
That's the bit I was remembering. Story of the ass, secret of the vag, and you like
Yeah.
you just like move in a way a bit like a dancer, because you had dance training as a teenager, and you're a very comfortable dancer on the dance floor.
Thank
So
you.
I
Compliments
want
on the dance
that.
floor.
I don't want to. This is the thing: is when I'm very comfortable on stage, when I'm having a good show, I really am in my body. But when I'm nervous, or I'm like, there's a high stake, I go to here and everything's coming from here, and I don't want that. So I just want this to be retrained and natural. But also it's really helping me just as a feminist, as a woman, as a sexual being, Sarah says, I love my breasts.
Yeah.
I just want to be more like, I want to feel it here, and it just, with PT, I'm like, yeah, I kind of enjoy the challenge of it, but I'm like, okay, I'm really happy to stop now. And with dance, I'm like, can we just go 10 more minutes so I can just do it one more time, because I can do it better. And then the class will finish, and I will keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to get it right.
I'm very excited about this for you.
I will show you, and only you, my routine that I've just learned this week. I will show it to you.
I want it.
It's kind of burlesque. It's to Christina Aguilera's "Show Me How to Burlesque."
Show me how to burlesque. Get a bump, bump, bump. Show me how to burlesque.
I will show it to you. I will show it to you on Zoom, in fact. I'm going to show it to Gina on Zoom. I'm not showing the whole world on Zoom. I'm sorry, gang. Maybe I'll show it to the Patreons. But someone might record it. I can't.
You have to.
I can't.
It'll make it. Those are those moments. The moments where you go, I can't, or the moments where the world is waiting and ready. They will need it. I'll try working you, because I want to see it on a stage. That's what I want. Live show. That's how I want it.
Yes. I understand that. I do understand that. Look, maybe if everyone agrees, they're not going to video it. Because when at the end of Guilty Feminist shows, sometimes we play I Will Survive if we have a musician, and everyone just kind of jumps up and down. I have seen myself, because people don't video our shows, but they, of course, want to video that last part where everyone's just, they put it on Twitter or Instagram. It's really nice because it's a celebration. Everyone's singing, and they just want to put out there, hey, we're at the Guilty Feminist tonight, and this was the vibe. And I'm always delighted when people do that. But sometimes I see myself in those clips, and I'm like dancing next to someone like Desiree Birch or Susan Wokoma or you, and you have, like that sort of, and I look so like that, that sort of jumping up and down at a festival like that. And I'm like, these women are in their hips. How do I? So now when I'm doing I Will Survive. Oh yeah. We're going to body rolls all over the place.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Something to live for.
I mean, literally something to live for. I feel like, thank you for you're the only one that's shown us something that personal. Most people are like, I have a funny hat or a cat.
But you know me. I mean, I'll be like, let me take you to my journey of IVF on like first meeting. I mean, I'm very DT, TT, very down to talk.
I literally made a video it was a Cribs video this week. That's why I did my hair and my makeup, like a sort of like a little spoof of Cribs. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this because it was for a company who asked me to do it. Anyway, I'm saying it.
Smart.
And we had to make it, like edit it and stuff. And we have a little bar upstairs that we bought this flat. It was like a squat when we bought it. We bought it like, we couldn't believe we could ever afford to buy a flat, and we thought we were never going to be able to afford to buy a flat. But then anyway, we kind of managed to do it. Like the last day you could buy a flat in London, really, and we just sort of scraped in, and it was total squat. It was like peeling, everything was peeling. And we knocked through upstairs, and there was room for like a little bar. And what I'm saying on the video is, when we decided to stop trying to have children because it wasn't working out that we could have children, I said, well, what about if instead of children we have a bar?
Oh.
And you know what? It's been a great investment, because that bar has never once woken me up at 3 a.m.
There you go. I mean,
I've been up. That bar has kept me up till 3 a.m., but it hasn't woken me up at 3 a.m. That's a better joke.
Better way to be.
It's kept me up, but it hasn't woken me up. God damn it. That was a much better line. I just ad-libbed the video.
That's how it goes, though.
I'm meant to be asking you stuff. Can you tell me, have you had a dark or very low moment that you would be willing to share? Because we find everyone's live streaming, of course, because we're human beings, our fun moments, our highlights, the moments where we've just learnt the dance to the Show Me How to Burlesque. We're live streaming that, not me, but others. We're live streaming when, we've got together to rewrite the lyrics of Les Miserables, but we're not actually live streaming when we are miserable?
Where we are
So
miserable.
it's the most popular question on this show because people just go, oh, thank God, I'm
Yeah,
perfectly
they
normal.
want to.
I can't see your eyes anymore. You're very close to the
Oh,
screen.
I'm so sorry.
There
I
we
was
are.
trying to
There we
I was trying to thirst trap you, I think.
are.
I
I'm thirsty.
my lowest. I mean, so first of all, like a lot of mine have been just sort of feeling shitty about myself. You know what I mean? Like just because I think that I know for me, like a lot of the ways that I have not like of managing my moods. So if something happens that makes me feel my husband and I get into some sticky situation in our marriage where we're just bickering with each other, or I do something from a parenting perspective that makes me feel bad, or something work-wise happens where I feel shit about myself. There are ways that we have of moving through the world to feel better, and those things are just gone. So if my husband and I get into an argument, often what'll happen is I'll go out and I'll do a gig that night and I'll get out of my head a little bit and feel good because of the gig or have learned something, and come home and bring like a lovely fresh energy that then that we can then
And
reset in a marriage.
it's easier to come down in pride if you've left the house. Like if you've gone up and done a
Yes,
whole thing,
yes.
it's easier to go, I'm sorry about before. I was just tired and I was
I
running
was just
late.
this.
And
And
exactly. And it's actually
that
kind of hard to go just walk into another room because you can only legally storm out once a day.
Yeah. And we
And
can't, with a kid, I think like, I mean, here's the truth is it's not been sort of dramatic, but it's awful. Is like, you can, like, I, when he and I, my husband and I, have had really sort of bad argument days. Like, we had a lovely Sunday this week, but Saturday it felt like the word minefield comes to mind. Like, we couldn't walk figuratively more than a few steps in a direction before it was like, well, but no, that's not what I said. What I said, it was just sort of that constantly. And just watching your child just absorb that stuff. And like when you were asking for my darkest moment at first, I was like, well, I haven't had a really, and I was like, oh no, the more I'm talking, the worst moment was I was in the kitchen with my son, sort of ignoring him, but engaged with him. Like he was eating his dinner and I was having a FaceTime call with a friend of mine who doesn't have kids. And I said sort of what I'd said to you, which is like, I mean, I could do without being around my child all the time. And I said that with my son sat across from me. My husband was in the living room. And I sort of, as I said it, I sort of had this moment of like, maybe don't say that in front of him. Like maybe it's an okay thing, but maybe that's not great. And I sort of clocked that in myself, but only half clocked it. And then we sort of finished up and my son walked into the living room and I heard my husband say something like, I know it's really hard. You can't go to nursery right now, but I love you so much. I said something that I felt was a real, let me compensate for the fact that your mother just said that she doesn't like being around you all the time, And
sure.
it was that combination, which is the worst, of humiliation and rage. Like I was humiliated that I'd done it. I was fucking enraged with my husband, who in his defense was like, that was not passive aggressive. It did make me uncomfortable that you said that, but I would never do something, I would, and it just, I felt terrible about myself and so angry for being called out on it. And our night was ruined. I mean, it was hours of arguing about parenting and all this stuff, and that was probably my lowest low. So
I really appreciate you telling us about that because actually no one's talked about an argument. They've just talked about like a feeling or a moment where like how they felt in themselves. And I think that's actually incredibly encouraging to hear because I feel like Tom and I'm surprised how well we've got on. We had an argument the other day and, we talked about it afterwards and I said, yeah, we talked it out, and I said, I have to say, I thought we were going to be arguing a lot more. I'm really proud of us for not arguing that much.
Yeah.
So I felt like I could kind of, I feel like like the fact that you're not arguing with your husband most of the time, it's okay. Of course, you're going to have rows in this situation. If you have to, what kind of couple would you be if you're completely locked down together and you never argued? You'd be a couple that weren't interested in each other, I think, if you didn't have any arguments at all. So I think my feeling is like, yes, you will argue, and some of those arguments will bring up things, but also you're in such an artificial situation. Like you didn't mean to say that in front of your little boy, but also it's understandable you feel that way. And also, as you say, it's that sort of moment of being confronted with that you think, you know, oh my God, you're having a go at me. You think I'm not a good enough mother, and all of that. And as you say, normally you could just go off and do a stand-up gig, or you could go out and have a walk around the block or whatever, and then come back and go, let's forget about it. I felt
embarrassed, and the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a pressure cooker. It's a real pressure cooker. And I think you thank you for talking about that, because it makes us all feel more normal when you talk about arguments, because I can see people saying, I can see people all saying, yeah, I'm having these arguments. Where some days we are the worst.
On social media is people being like, you know, if I have to be in this with anybody, I'm glad I'm in it with this guy. And it's like,
yeah.
Like, namaste, you're true. And I do feel like what I was saying.
There are times when you feel that for your partner, but there are times when you don't want to read that because you don't feel that.
I feel that about my partner, but I would never say it about him. Like, I would only say nice things privately to him.
Yes.
But
it's true. I just think it's a bit showy offy to be on Instagram going, look at what I won. Look at this prize. Yeah. It's like, well, some people are alone. Some people are choosing to be alone. And look, some of my friends are alone and actually liking being alone as well, by the way. When I said before about people being alone, not everyone who's alone is like, I'm desperate to be with someone. But there are friends of mine who are alone who are like,
and I feel
like to touch another human being again, because I'm used to living alone, but I'm used to going out and interacting and all of the other things you get to do when you live alone that that's suddenly been taken away. I know people are like, I am with 7 flatmates. I hate 5 of them. I'm desperate to be alone. My God, I wish they'd go out. They can't go out. Like, I know people who are so desperate for company and so desperate for alone time. And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're all having this differently. But I think anyone who's living with anyone has to be arguing at some point, but especially if you're with a partner. Like, you could probably get away with just being very polite to a flatmate, actually. But I think with your partner, no, especially if you're co-parenting, no, or anything, co-working or of course, we need to be kind to ourselves about that and understand a lot of that's the stress, but also it's useful to be kind to your partner and say, I'm really sorry, like, to be the one to go, I'm really sorry we had that, even if you cannot bring yourself to say, I'm sorry I was wrong, to say, I'm sorry we argued. It's a great icebreaker, I find. Oh, Sarah is not there now. Okay, well, I'll wait and see if she comes back on. In the meantime, every single day, something that the guest has said ends up on a t-shirt, and it's an on-demand t-shirt. And in fact, we were talking about sustainability yesterday, and Hannah from the merch store sent me a whole heap of stuff about the sustainability and how it's on demand, so there's no waste. But they're trying even harder now because they've got some shirts that were shipped from Poland, and they want to source more locally, which is something Aisling B encouraged us to do. And she said she was only happy to have her shirt done. Aisling B is really into sustainability. She was only happy to have her shirt done if it was sourced locally. So now they've sorted that out, but they don't want to not use the old Polish t-shirts first, because that's counterintuitive, because they can't waste those. But when they need more, they're going to go locally. So everything's all obviously not made in a sweatshop and all that kind of stuff. Sara Barron's coming back. Okay, let's see if we can connect. Sara Barron. Is she connecting? Yay!
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I was just explaining how every day Hannah from the merch store finds something the guest has said and puts it on a t-shirt that's a stay-at-home new normal t-shirt, and then the proceeds from that go to you because you're the artist, and the merch store don't take any profit. So Hannah will decide on something you've said today, but if there's any candidates from the viewers, then please say, if Sarah says something that you would like on a t-shirt, then I may then they can buy it and all the profit goes to you. So, and I was just talking about the sustainability of the t-shirts and the upping of that, because I was busking while you were gone. Thank you for that. I really think that helped. That helped me a lot to hear about that, and I really think it's going to help a lot of people as well. This goes up for 24 hours, then it goes on the live story, then it goes on YouTube. So you get a lot of feedback and a lot of opportunities for people to see your t-shirt. Do you have a piece of online feminism you would like us to direct us to today?
Oh, so two things. So one is a book by a female writer that I recently read that was so addictive and page turny, which I think is what we all need right now. Is a book called Fleischman is in Trouble by Taffy Brodesser Ackner, but the title is Fleischman is in Trouble.
Okay.
It's so good.
Wow.
It's not like, oh, and I think this will win the Pulitzer Prize next year, but it's like an amazing look into a couple's marriage, and there's a real feminist twist to it, aside from just having a female author. And then in terms of charities, I'm stuck for anything original here because I am just sort of a refuge.org.
No, it doesn't have to be original, because this is every day and people tune in, and we ask people every day to like donate or amplify, retweet, follow. Because imagine if you're working for Refuge and then suddenly you get a lot of followers. Like, even if people don't have a lot of money, and a lot of people do have money to spend right now because they can't go to the pub and they're still earning their full salary. So if you don't have any money, but you retweet it or you share it with friends you know have money, and like literally WhatsApp them and go, hey, would you help out with this? Or do like a little fundraising quiz or something like that. It's really helpful. So the more times people can talk about Refuge, to be honest, the better, because this is a long quarantine and Refuge is one of the biggest issues right now, along with food banks and help refugees.
Assistance to domestic abuse sufferers, which is of course one of the side effects of everyone having to be at home all the time.
Well, we all make a story about Refuge for you with a swipe up so people can donate. But it also, as I say, if you can't donate, please follow and please amplify. Do you hope humanity will learn anything from this experience? Do you think as a human race we're going to go forward on anything? Environment, community, is there anything we're going to take from this? Compassion?
I would love, like, to me, the thing that I would love to be real is I would love for the coolest, most important, most impressive thing for a person to be would be like a nurse or a teacher, right? Like if we started really paying those professions.
That's a good point.
Better.
Yeah.
But I just.
And people will, I think people will really, the nurses and teachers can walk out after this and say, pay us double or we're not going back. And everyone will be like, please pay them double.
I mean, that would be incredible if that happened. I think I have a sort of nihilistic view about how long-term any of that stuff will be, but it would be wonderful if it was. That's what I would love to see, is that like in a real way, people wanted their kids to be a nurse. Not in like I know that's a cool thing to say, but really I want them to be no, really, if my kid grows up and works as a nurse in the NHS, I will be like so thrilled with myself as a parent.
Yeah,
I really do feel that way. I would like it if other people felt that way too and really meant it.
That's a really, really good point. I hope that happens. And are there any habits?
Someone just commented, I wanted to say this as well, is like, maybe this means Trump is on the rocks. That to me is the thing I feel the most hopeful about, is that maybe this would get Trump out of office. I don't know, but that's like the real flutters of hope that I feel.
It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. I mean, I think, I don't know, we're in bubble, but God, some of the things he's been saying, absolutely extraordinary. Drink bleach. Oh, I was being sarcastic. No, you weren't. Any habits you might take forward from this? Anything you might adopt in your daily life? Might you say, do I really need to go to that meeting in South London? Could that be a Zoom call? Is there anything like that you might take forward? Or you think people might take forward? I think shaggy hair is going to come back in. That's going to be a fashion.
Oh yeah, I think that very possibly. I think I mean, this is just like a gross, like, I don't even think I'm using the word navel gazy correctly right now with this, but like, I'd love to remember that exercise really does help me feel better, which is like so gross and stupid, but that sort of thing. I mean,
You could be an Instagram influencer with that voice.
Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? It's been really, like, I'll think about something, I'll go, oh, it's been so lovely. We have like the greatest neighbors of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I worship them. They're the best people. And it's been so nice talking to them every day because they're just the greatest people. I would love to still get to talk to them every day, which, like, weirdly you never do with your neighbors under normal circumstances. But let's be real. In like 3 years, I'm not going to be like actually catching up on the regular with Mr. Deary, even though doing that like genuinely affects my mood in a positive way.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. And finally, if they said today, this afternoon, right now, this very second, Boris Johnson said quarantine's over. We've discovered a vaccine. We can drop. We can drop over the top of the city. Quarantine's over. What's the first thing you want to do? What are you desperate to do?
I mean, I would immediately call my friend who has a child. Basically, I would immediately arrange childcare. So I'd be like, okay, we get tonight, you get tomorrow night. We'll take the kids tonight, you take them tomorrow night. And I would like immediately go to dinner and a movie with my husband. So that's nice. Like, I'm so sick of him, but that is what I would do.
That is so nice. I will definitely be going out to meet other people. Do you know what I'm desperate to do? And I've loved being with Tom. I feel like really I'm going to be one of those people now. I just, if I have to do it with anyone with you, but I have really enjoyed. I've really enjoyed reconnecting with Tom Salinsky, I have to say, because we rush around, especially me, rush around, and we're getting so many more in-jokes and stuff. It's really nice. But if they let me out, oh my God, I would head straight the fuck towards other people. Yeah. Salinsky, yes, he will get dinner and a show, but there has to be other people in that mix. And
okay.
He knows that. But what I really want to do, this is what I desperately want to do. I want to walk into Camden, as I used to a lot, because I live in Camden. And I want to go to a buzzy cafe on my own and just people watch, just have happy, engaged people. There's someone sitting there trying to close the deal. There's someone sitting there on a first date. There's someone over there breaking up with their partner. There's people buzzing around. There's people behind me talking about yoga. You know, I go to the same try yoga as her. I recognize her. Then I want to go to try yoga. Just be in that space. Just be in that really calm, lovely space. Then I want to meet friends. I'm going to come home. I'm going to really dress up. And I want to meet a bunch of girlfriends in Soho House. I'm smiling just talking about this. Or somewhere like that, like somewhere in Soho that, you know, I've meet friends like Susie Bacoma, and I sometimes go to Soho House, somewhere like that. And then just like have really strong cocktails, Sarah. Strong cocktails in a really fancy dress and some killer heels. And like stay until they kick us out. And then be one of those people who goes, there's another bar around the corner, it's still open. And then we find there isn't. We've walked 3 blocks in both directions. There's no bar. So I say, everyone's coming back to my place because we have a bar and no children. So you all come back to my place, Sarah. And we go up, we use the bar. I have a joke in the video I made about you'll use the bar for 3 parties and then it's a great place to par things up. But we're going to take off whatever's piled up on the bar, behind the bar, and then we're going to have a party upstairs in the loft behind the bar. It's a very small space that we have a bar and a sofa, basically.
But have
it then, because it's a small space, very few people make it feel like it's a crowded pub, which is great. So then I'm now planning I'm going to get kicked off Instagram planning this because you're only allowed on this for an hour. But it's just like, and I don't want people to go. Do you know what I mean? Like I want people then to crash
like
here
watch
overnight.
The sun come up and then like everyone's kissing a little bit.
Yes. And when they try and go, I want to don't go. Like,
don't go.
Don't go. Like, you know, like that. That's how I'm going to be. I'm going to be like I was maybe at 22 or something. Like, stay out. Come over. Stay up. Don't go. You can crash on the sofa. Yeah. Let's open another bottle. It's going to be great. I'm smiling just look how much I'm smiling talking about this, fantasizing about this night. Oh, it's going to be so great. Can we go out for cocktails, Sarah, after this?
Yes, 100%.
I'm so excited.
Really nice dresses and really
nice dresses.
Shoes.
Yes.
I want to wear some uncomfortable shoes.
So uncomfortable those shoes can be. Can you come here first and I will do the show me how to burlesque routine for you
100%.
in the dress and the shoes before we go out, just to get us in the
Use
mood.
the bar. I'm gonna get you using the bar as a because I think a bar is you're anchoring your body. You need something to work.
My
you need
core.
An object you can work.
My core. Dominic Rabb said, "Oh, this might go on for months," and my core is going to be like steel. I'm going to be able to just like, I mean, if I keep doing this amount of exercise, which I do partly to get me out of bed and to get me dressed and to see another human being. My best friends are now Melissa and Emma. So Emma, I do PT with. Melissa, I do dance with. They're the only people I see. Like I see Melissa 5 days a week, and I see Emma 4 days a week. And they're the people I see. And I've said to them, they don't know each other. I've said to them, can the three of us go dancing after this? Because you are my quarantine buddies. They're the ones that get me through. So yeah, my steely, I'll take my steely core. I mean, it won't be steely for long after quarantine, I imagine. I imagine my core will go back to some extent to its old ways because my real life doesn't involve 2 hours of burlesque dancing in the morning. But you know,
who knows? I mean, is that something that you
I just get up earlier.
Do you think that is something? Do you think that is something that will stay? Your commitment to your dance?
Yeah, I think yes. I mean, it cannot be at the level it's at with my old life back. But I would like to. I've already said to Melissa, I'd like to do it like 3 times a week or something. And I also want her to teach me routines. So if I'm in a hotel room on tour, I've got like 3 or 4 routines because I will do them. Like tonight, I will do my routine because I'm trying to make it perfect. And I really sweat and I'm breathing. I'm doing it over and over. And I'm like, damn it, I got that one. Or I'm like, that wasn't as good as last time. And I'm just going to do it one more time. I've never felt like that about
these hips. When I see them again, are going to be different than the last time I saw them.
I'm going to be more in them. I'm going to be. It's going to be a little bit more. Tell the story of the ass.
You're gonna keep the secret of the vag.
Secret of the vag.
Your walk.
I'm showing what I'm wearing. I'm wearing these Sweaty Betty pants.
Oh,
and they look, story of the ass. They're actually
that's my camera.
But I don't think they do. Look, they do keep the secret of the vag because they're hanging down a little bit. So I can't believe I'm saying this. My standards have changed so much in lockdown.
This is what I
can't believe I'm showing you myself in leggings and talking about the secret of the vag. What has happened to me online?
I like to drag down a tone. It's one of my skills.
No, when you do it in stand-up, it's a funny bit. It's a bit. I do it on stage as a bit, but just like standing here in my clothes with no makeup on and
people want it. It's what they want.
Do they?
They want the realness.
Well, they got it. Listen, this week we have all sorts of incredible people on the new normal. That you can see on the stories that are below. We're nearly out of time, so I haven't got time to tell you, but it's all over Instagram. Sara Barron, you have been an incredible guest. I'm very excited to see what your t-shirt says, and if you have any ideas for anything that you said, or anything.
Oh, you mean my the t-shirt, the new normal t-shirt?
Yeah, because Hannah decides. But if anyone's got any ideas, put it in the box below. And then that'll be a stay-at-home t-shirt, print on demand, and the money will come to you. So please buy Sara's t-shirt. Is there anything else you want to plug? Anything else you've been in? Videos, YouTube clips, anything? Follow you?
I will. I'm doing a thing every Wednesday at 8:30 on Instagram Live with the pop sensation that is Paloma Faith. She and I are doing this. Instagram
How come you're
Live
doing a thing with Paloma Faith?
Because she's a friend of mine. Because I'm a star fucker.
I am so impressed. That's like doing a fucking, I'll do an Instagram Live with Lady Gaga.
Pretty much.
Why?
So
it's amazing.
We had been planning. We are planning to do a podcast together, and one of the features of that was that we were going to give relationship advice, like a little 7-minute thing at the end of the podcast. Well, of course, we couldn't start doing a podcast in quarantine, so we started sort of giving relationship advice. We're sort of being agony aunts,
right?
But hot and cute and young. So tune into those at 8:30 on Insta Live.
Wonderful.
Moderately entertaining.
And is it up then for 24 hours on the live story? Do you keep it?
I don't know, because Paloma runs all that stuff. I don't even know what's going on. But basically, I don't know where people can find it if they can't watch it live. Usually on Paloma's Instagram page.
Okay, look at
By the
Plano's
way, can
Instagram
I just
page.
say, if you have any American listeners, which I'm sure you do, it's really a bad tick that I do when I'm trying to say I don't know something to use a Southern accent. It's like, actually, there's something sort of racist in it, so I want to apologize for that. I'm working
Okay,
on that.
I think they knew that you would do anyway. I will not. I'm just gonna. Yeah, people are saying "Story of the Ass" T-shirt, but is that your stand-up? You may not want that on a T-shirt.
Oh, I mean, as long as
You,
I get credit for it, I don't mind.
oh, it does. It says "X Sara Barron."
Great. Then I think
Like
it
a,
makes me
it's a,
look
and
hilarious and witty, and people are like, "Who's this lady? Let me follow her on Instagram."
they
And
exactly.
I really need to up
Oh,
my
so it's
social
your
media numbers.
T-shirt, and you get the money for them as well. So it's absolutely Story of the Ass. Secret of the Vag would be actually a great T-shirt.
Yeah. Okay, that could be it.
Okay, Hannah, I know you're watching now or later. So we think Story of the Ass, Secret of the Vag. Very good feminist T-shirt. Sara Barron, you've been absolutely amazing.
Thank you so
Love
much for having me.
you.
Bye bye. Love you. Bye bye.
Bye. New normal every day, 6 p.m. Tune in. Bye.